It is the 30th week in Ordinary Time, and this is Extraordinary. So, a massive week this week in the church. We have one of the biggest feasts of all of the church's year on the 1st of November, which takes place this week, the Feast of All Saints. But before we get to that, let's start with the other people that we encountered during the week. Now, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, it's pretty quiet. We've just got days of ordinary time. Start of the week, however, we meet Saint Simon and Saint Jude. These are proper biblical saints, so some of the first apostles. You can read about what they did in the Bible. Red is their colour because they were killed for their faith, like many of the first followers of Jesus. Saint Jude, for example, is one of the patron saints of lost causes, or for kind of things that seem hopeless. So these guys are really a big deal because they were the people who started and founded our church. And you can find out loads more about them simply by heading to the Bible. These are kind of some of the first saints we've got. I think it's quite appropriate then, of course, that we start with some of our earliest saints and then we go through to the end of the week and we look at the Feast of All Saints and All Souls, and we look at all of the saints throughout history. Saints are people we know who are in heaven and who've lived lives, definitely not perfect, but lived lives in the way that God intended them to do and have helped through what they've done to bring us as humanity closer to understanding what it means to be a Christian, what it means to follow Christ, and what it means to be a saint. Pope Benedict, when he visited this country, said all of us are called to be saints. And what I would encourage you to do on All Saints' Day is to find a saint you like or you don't know yet and find out about their life. Because looking at their lives can help us understand about our lives. It's quite difficult to look at someone in the Bible and go, oh, I'm going to be like that, because often they seem so amazing or their stories or lives seem so dramatic. And yet, in All Saints' Day, we get to look at the whole history of the church. Thousands of years, hundreds of thousands of people who the church has called saints, who can inspire us in our lives. After All Saints' Day, we have All Souls' Day, where we start to enter the month of November and we start to think about all those people who have died. One of the key kind of criteria for being a saint, as well as being an awesome person or doing awesome things, is being dead. And actually, I think it's something that we're scared to talk about sometimes. It's hard, it's sad, it's upsetting when we lose people. But actually what it reminds us is that death in this life is not necessarily the end of everything. In fact, death to this life can actually be life eternal with God. And that's what the saints remind us. That through our lives here on earth, we can then have eternal life in heaven with God. And that's pretty cool. And so looking at their lives again inspires our lives to be better and to be more. Of course, as well, the day before All Saints and All Souls Day, we have Halloween. And Halloween, weirdly enough, although it's sometimes seen as something we shouldn't go anywhere near, has actually got its roots in lots of early Christian practices, understanding and kind of starting to think about life and death, because they're part of our existence. So we've got another video about Halloween you can check out, links appearing somewhere, so check that out. But this week, really try and find a saint. There's a great website. If you go to catholic.org/saints, I think, you can find a list of lots of patron saints or things that people are saints of. That's a great way to start. Find something you love and find a saint who's linked to it. There's pretty much a saint for everything. And then learn about their lives so that your lives can be more like their lives and you can be saints. One day, you guys could be saints. One day, you guys could have a feast day. And one day, you could enjoy that eternal life with God. And I think that's an incredible thing to think about this week. Have an amazing saintly week. Be the best saintly people you can be. And let us know if you find any stories of interesting saints in the comments below. Don't forget to hit subscribe, hit the little bell. And we look forward to seeing you guys soon.